Yo, what's going on, guys? Clutch back again with another video for you guys, and today it is going to be another insane tactics video. Before we do get into it, if you haven't, please smash a like on this video. It will help a ton, helps me out massively, and will be much appreciated. If you have any questions, want to know anything about FIFA, football, any questions at all, let them down in the comments below, and also smash that sub button if you can as well. We are trying to reach 5,000 subscribers before Christmas. We're just under 250 away, and it will be much appreciated. Do you want an amazing team like this? Well, head over to u7buy.com to get the most cheap and reliable coins on FC24 and use code CLUTCH for 6% off. Now, guys, we are going to go into the tactics. This is a different formation for you guys. It's a new one for this year. It is the 4-2-1-3. I've actually really enjoyed playing it with this. It actually quite surprised me. It was quite similar to the 4-2-3-1, just a bit more aggressive and a bit more attacking. And I'm actually quite excited to show you guys this one. So, defensive style was unbalanced. Again, for me, I don't really like to use the preset pressing a lot of the time. For me, a lot of the time it's way too scattered. There's just players running here, there and everywhere. It's not very structured. It's just not personally how I like to play FIFA. I like to be able to defend in a certain way where I know who my players are, and pressing for me just doesn't really work too well for that specifically. Now, the width is on 45. 45 width is mainly just due to the fact of I want to tuck in those fullbacks. One of the most deadly runs you can kind of concede this year is when someone plays a pass in between the fullback and the centre back. And just have it ever so slightly tucking in that width means that you just concede less of those, all right? So 45 width for that reason alone. Now, the 71 depth. This is mainly down to the pressing, especially on new gen. It does still work on old gen, but I would say it isn't as effective as it is on new gen, but it is still very good, and you can use it for both. But what it does, basically, they've changed depth this year. So when you have a higher depth, it means you actually press as well. And with the 71 depth, they've basically found a bit of a buggy or a glitchy way where it's just absolutely ridiculous. It plays so well, and 71 depth is just the absolute kind of meta, so to speak, and it just works really well. So make sure you got it on. Now, build-up play is actually on long ball. This is mainly to try and utilise our actual attacking three a lot more. Try and get involved with the through balls as well. What it does, basically, it will make your players make through ball runs earlier. Now, this is good and bad into this extent of, like, depending on how you want to play. If you're trying to be quick on the counter-attack, it's a very good way of playing. If you're trying to play a bit slower and a bit structured, I would maybe suggest turning it off. It is up to you. But for me, using long ball works so well because of just how early it triggers your runs and how quick you can go at your opponent. So just keep an eye on that if you do or do not want it. And then the chance creation works perfectly alongside it. It is direct passing, the absolute GOAT of FC24. What it does, basically, if your players have high attacking positioning and sprint speed and acceleration and things like that, they make good or better in behind runs. They make earlier runs, and they just make all round better in behind runs. It just works so well when you really are trying to use these through balls, and we all know how overpowered through balls are. So make sure you have it on. And then the width is on 40. This is mainly due to the fact of having a left wing, right winger. Now, for me, I want my wingers to cut in. I want them to be involved in the attack, trying to score goals and trying to create, trying to come onto the end of crosses, passes, and just getting shots off. I find if I don't have my width lower, and you'll see in the instructions how I use it as well, that they just don't get anywhere near as involved as I was personally like in the attack. I want to really try and overload play people in central areas, and having those wingers tuck in and make those runs can work very well. And then we do have our players in the box on 6. This is mainly to make sure that all of our attackers get involved. I can get some good attacking positions. And then we also have fullbacks getting involved. We've got our CDMs getting a little bit involved as well. For me, 6 players in the box is the meta this year. I think it's the best one you can have. And then I do have my corners and my free kicks both on 2. This is majorly down to the fact of wanting to concede less counter-attacks. But also as well, you can just score very good corners with a certain set piece tactic. If you want to know what that is, let me know in the description and I'll do a video on it. Now, guys, we are going to go into the instructions. This is how I do have the team laid out, with Messi playing in that cam role. He plays it very well. And obviously with the wingers, the striker, 2 DMs, and the rest of the team there. So I will start with the wingers. So I do have both of my wingers on comeback on defence, cut inside, getting behind, get into the box for cross. Now, the wingers are on comeback on defence to obviously help defensively when we are defending. It does mean those wingers drop back and they'll almost play like a 4-4-2 with the two DMs. The kind of what the video I had done yesterday. They'll kind of settle into that kind of shape and formation. It does just mean that it just makes us a lot stronger defensively, especially if we're not being counter-attacked. If we have time to really set into our shape, it makes us so hard to break down. But that does still mean they'll still bomb forward. It's not like they won't go attacking. All it means is when we don't have the ball, they'll come back and help defend. We do have him on cutting side as well. This briefly kind of like blends into what I was talking about with the lower attacking width. Like I said, I just do want my players making those central runs from the wide areas. It works so well. They make so many good effective runs, and they can score so many goals from long shots as well. For instance, I've got Zola, who has the finesse playstyle plus trait, works incredibly well. And then my support runs, I do have him on getting behind. Again, this is mostly just down to trying to utilise through balls to the best of our ability, and also trying to get those wingers again involved in the attack as much as possible and getting them in dangerous positions. And then I do have support on crosses, on getting to the box for cross. Again, this is mostly down to trying to get them in better attacking positions, and also to try and make the most of back post crosses, make the most of cutbacks and things like that. Just try and have as many bodies in the box for those situations to try and overload our opponent. I do have my striker on stay central, get in behind. This is mainly, again, down to the fact of trying to utilise through balls as much as we can. Really try and, you know, get through our opponent's back line and just try and be as deadly as we can in those central attacking areas. And then I do have my cam on stay forward, get into the box for cross. This is for two reasons. One of them being, obviously, we just want him as involved in the attack as we can, and he links up so well with the rest of the attackers by having him on stay forward. It means he doesn't drop too far back, and just in general, we feel like we're playing a lot higher up and a lot more aggressive when we are attacking. But also, it does stop a glitch as well where your cam swaps with your CDM, so that's also another plus. Pardon me. And then we do have him on getting to the box across as well. This is mainly down to the fact of just trying to, again, get him in dangerous positions, be available for cutbacks, back post crosses, all that kind of stuff. Now, I do have both of my CDMs on stay back while attacking cover centre. This is mainly just down to the fact of defending wins games this year. I'm trying to be as defensively strong as possible. I'm trying to concede the least amount of attacks as possible. And for me, doing like the best way to do that is by having basically the square in the middle where you have your two DMs, two centre backs, just protecting the middle of that pitch and making sure we concede the least amount of goals possible. So that is for both of my CDMs. I do have both of my centre backs on default instructions. I do have both of my fullbacks on stay back while attacking overlap. Now, obviously, this is partly down to the fact of, like I said, they're on stay back because I don't want to concede any silly goals. But if I am going to trigger runs on them and I am going to bring them forward, I want them to make those overlapping runs. Because basically the way it'll work is when those wingers cut in, a big space will open up in these wide areas as the fullbacks will follow the wide men in, and a lot of gaps can open up. We can get a lot of very good overloads if we do have them on overlap and they make those runs. So they're just the main reasons. And then I do have the keeper on comes across his sweeper keeper. This is again just to be a bit more aggressive off our line, make sure we don't concede any silly crosses, and make sure that basically our keeper can try and do the best to his ability to try and get on the end of any through balls our opponent might play as well. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please smash a like, smash the sub button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.